it's a time for us to reflect and plan. Also, maybe evaluate the past and plan for the next year. Yeah, what would you do? What would you will you do for the next year? Using the moon energy that you have received from today. Sometimes the full moon at this time of the year is given a special name. Sometimes it's called the cold moon, sometimes long night moon, because it comes during the darkest and coldest time of the year in the northern hemisphere anyway. And we have the chance to see the moon at night for longer because the night is much longer compared to other months for us to see it. We are also close to the winter solstice. In other words, the shortest day of the year, reminding us that the spring will soon be coming back again. But from this point onwards, then the day will start to lengthen, allowing us to get ready for the birth of a new season. But it's also the time for us to evaluate all that we have learned in this year, mull it over and integrate into it, and the new plans and goal for the upcoming years. And the full moon will help us to keep up exactly with this positive energy. Yeah, especially when we meditate together, we have gather a lot of positive energy, both from emerging from ourselves and from other people who meditating together with us. So whatever there are any combinations and conclusion and realization which you have had during this year, that's a time to reflect on all those things. And for the moon, it is said to be the time to think about a balance, often between opposing force in our life, the pressure, and it might be a time when we can reach towards a deeper compassion for ourselves and for others, and to dig deeper for a balance between the two. Perhaps some bounce between the logic and intuition, between personal truth and collective truth, and between learning and knowing, between the home and family, between the work life and the family, perhaps to reflect on whether how we are spending our time within our work and our family, or if we are neglecting either aspect of our lives because of the full moons are often said to symbolize the feedback in our lives somewhat like a mirror. We can learn to see more clearly into the circumstances that come up at this time of the year. As for the winter solstice, the scaled picture of the Stonehenge, which I will show you next. Actually, to be exact, on the 21st of the December, and it's a time when the Earth exits furthest from the sun. You can see the picture, at least in the northern hemisphere. And although the length of the day differ from different parts of the world, for example, it can be 9 hours long in New York, and it can be only less than 6 hours long in Finland or many countries in Europe. The actual word solstice came from the Latin for the sun stands still. And if you are a meditator, then maybe that's had a special meaning to you as well. That means that your inner sun inside your body can come to stand still, yeah, at the center of the body as well. But in many cultures, the solstice was seen as a time of death and rebirth. Uh, Now here's the Stonehenge. It is thought to be in a way of tracking this particular time of the year where we move from the darkness back into the light again. And it would be a time when the Scandinavians and particularly would bring in the Yule log from the hearth in order to attract the sun warmth back to the spring month again. So may not be something that we look forward to the cold of this time of the year, but we can look forward to the hours and the warmth and gradually increasing as we move back toward to the spring. But the main topic here, which I wanted to talk about today, is looking after our well-being and possibly mental health over this festive season. It's become more and more of a topic while everyone's having a jolly ho 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 during this time. And Thai a lot of other people are really feeling under the weather for various reasons. So it would seem that a lot of people aren't talking not about celebrating Christmas this day, but like a surviving Christmas. And the main theme of our reality, looking after our subject well-being, in spite of the possible thing that come up as obstacle to that. Okay. So as for the family harmony in the festive season, I should say that it's not just about the family, but there are many. Five things that which might need to make sure that you have survived at this time of the year, whether it be uncertainty, close contact with families, some people trying to survive loneliness, others surviving grief, or even something as simple as surviving a lack of sleep. Okay, we go through one by one. As for uncertainty, well, it's truly difficult to predict how uncertainty shapes our world, especially when it comes to conflicts. It's unsettling to think about how we can't be so sure which country may find themselves involved in a war, especially with a number of countries now already involved in the war. The cut in the gas pipelines has resulted in a rise in household expenses, isn't it? And we are all feeling rather anxious about the weeks to come. We have things like this to worry about, and we worry about the thing like the turkey shortage in some country. But we ought to consider ourselves lucky that we get to worry about this thing like that instead of worrying about it getting frostbite in Belarusian forest somewhere else in the world. And we may see the value of our family more, especially as global uncertainties and economic challenges remind us of importance of strong personal connections and mutual support during the times of the hardship. And if you feel like that you are feeling not very positive at all about this, maybe because you are lacking sunlight, in which case you may be suffering from what's known as the seasonal affective disorder. You can get Amazon to deliver, you are just sad. It means seasonal affective disorder lamp. The sad lamp to supplement your sunshine and maybe take a little bit more vitamin into your body and to maybe to get out to the fresh air where you can, because it is said that being out in the fresh air helps to you to take advantages of your brains, your neuroplasticity, and you get more serotonin from oxygenating your brain and more exotonin, uh, oxytocin from meeting up with friends and whoever that you can find, wherever is possible. And for those of us with families, it's all well and good, isn't it? We can sometimes tolerate our families or try to get on with them. But some people don't have families. And it can be time of the year where people feel loneliness particularly acutely. And you may think of the elderly, but in fact, even young people said that 1 in 10 adults between 25 and 34 years old age feel a lot of loneliness at this time of the year. So if it's the case that you are feeling this way inclined, then try to structure your time, and think ahead and plan what you might eat, read, and watch, and any exercise that you might do at this time of the year. And also make an effort to connect with people who you know. If you keep in contact with others, then it helps to ward off or at least manage those feelings you might have of loneliness. And to address of any of the feelings which you might have, it's worth rethinking your expectations at this time of the year. Because sometimes we allow our TV watching or social media to give us so many constructs that we are always comparing ourselves with others. And this can be the cause of a lot of negative feelings that we have had. And sometimes we feel less valuable or less lovable. And so it's a result of that. The loneliness can be particularly acute for those who have lost a loved one in the past year. So spare a moment to think of anyone who has lost a loved one. Maybe is facing Christmas this time for the first year. Without a loved one, it can be particularly hard to for them to handle it. For a person who are in the grief, it may be a time to pair up with anyone who you know has gone through the sort of experience lately and help them to plan. It may be that they simply don't want to be around for Christmas, and it's easier for them to just do something completely different at this time of the year, like volunteering, let's say in the soup kitchen, see in the picture, or going away somewhere else, hopefully in the sunny place, perhaps, such as the beach, in order to just have a completely different experience without the reminders coming back to those thoughts. As for the lack of sleep, it is said to be one of the issues during the Christmas. To be honest, I cannot think why. Maybe someone is waiting for the Santa overnight. I'm not sure. But some people say that eating too much and drinking too much. At this point, I think you probably know what I am going to say on about the alcohol and moderation generally. So I won't go into that much, okay? But it is said that a lot of people actually enjoy this time of the year less because they have very different sleep patterns. So that might be something you want to keep track of for yourself to help you survive for this time of the year. And back to the family. Well, the family are great, aren't they? They help us to preserve our sense of well-being in this time of the year. And sometimes there's a lot of pressure to be the perfect family or to be the perfect expectations. But sometimes we need to let go that perfectionism in order to really be present with what we actually have. In this respect, sometimes there's a lot of material pressure to have expensive gifts or thoughtful gifts or the gifts that show that we have given and understand the people in our family. But the potential is always there for resentment if we are not careful. And perhaps it's useful for me to point out that it's really the people. The Christmas is not just about giving things to people in a material way. Within the wisdom of tradition of Buddhism, there are said to be four ways in which we can really cement the bonds of friendship with those around us. And only one of those is to do with the gift giving or sharing or generosity. So that would be the okay, only one of the four. Okay, as you can see in the picture. Okay. Four ways to cement bonds of relationship. The first one is generosity. The next one, okay, also the way that we talk to each other, the thoughtfulness of the thing that we say to others, expressing the real compassion through the thing that we have conversed with other people can be very important as well, especially for people who are feeling down or lacking encouragement. Then you are able to give the right words at the right time to give person pick me up when they are feeling forgotten or lonely or grieving. This can be practically powerful. Not only that, but going out our way to the third one, maybe consider the people who are less fortunate than ourselves at the Christmas time during the festive seasons or other festive season. Then this will be particularly effective as a way to cement those bonds of relationship. And last but not least, sometimes we don't put a great deal of emphasis on it, but sometimes it's just being there for a person or being available for a person doesn't actually mean that you have to do very much activity. But the fact that you are there for a person and in the sense that you do whatever they expect of you can be very powerful. but we are the constant in the person life, then that could be really valuable in a way that puts people mind at rest, because it's said that all the people are needy, no matter how wealthy or well provided for they might be always. They are always lacking in resources or in encouragement, lacking someone to give them a helping hand, or lacking a sense of security. So any of these four things that we can give to others, it helps those people to think of us even when the time we are not around them. And really, I think that is the time of the year that is especially about the sort of the thing, especially about the sense of caring, especially about the sense of authenticity which we have with those who we love or those who are close to us at this time of the year. So this time is our December full moon meditation. Okay. And hopefully you get something more or less from my presentation. See you again for next full moon.